Welcome to the Spirit, Totem, and Power Animal channel. I'm Bernadette, one of your helpers as you journey along the mystical path of animal spirit guide, shamanism, and metaphysics. I'm also the creator and channel of the award-winning Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck, as well as the creator-publisher of whatismyspiritanimal.com and buildingbeautifulsouls.com, two of the internet's largest metaphysical portals. It is truly my sacred honor to be of service to you, so get ready and let's get wild. Okay, today's video is all about red cardinal energy and medicine. It's red cardinal symbolism, its meaning. I'll go into red cardinal dreams, what it means in the Native American culture, what it means in the Celtic culture, its zodiac and symbolism, color meanings, the whole nine yards. So get ready because there's a lot to find out. Okay, so speaking of the cardinal's color and the fact that it is a songbird, I like to start out all of my animal videos with a quote about the animal. But do you know, for the life of me, I couldn't find a quote about red cardinals. But because they are songbirds, I found this really great quote from Plato. I love it, and I hope you do like it too. From Mr. Plato: "Every heart sings a song, incomplete, until another heart whispers back. Those who wish to sing will always find a song." I love that quote. I love that quote. I love that quote. It kind of reminds me of Leanne Womack's song, I Hope You Dance. I hope you dance too, but I also hope that you sing, because we all have a sacred voice and our own songs to be sung. And so when I see a red cardinal, I always think of them as a songbird. I think of their brilliant red color as stimulating and invigorating. Certainly red cardinal symbolism and meaning can be tied to the root chakra, which is the color red. And that's where your, that's where your family starts, because that's where your reproduction system starts. It's what gives you your stability. It's what gives you your grounding. But there are some other reasons that red cardinals symbolize love and family. Is that, first of all, they're monogamous. So, cardinals, unfortunately, really only live maybe 3 to 4 years in the wild, but they are monogamous birds. And so once they mate, they do mate for life, however long that may be. The other thing is that when the males are courting the females and it's mating season, they'll take food and they deliver it from their little beak to the female's beak, and it looks like they're kissing. So I really, and red is like Valentine's Day color, and rose, it's one of the most popular rose colors, that kind of thing. So I always like to associate them with those meanings. But I would say that overall, cardinal symbolism and meaning is tied up with it being, when you see a cardinal or you get visited by a cardinal, it's really tied to having it be an omen or a visitation or a sign from any loved one who's crossed over. And I get emails, Facebook PMs every single day asking me, hey, I saw a red cardinal in a place that I've never seen it before, or red cardinals keep appearing to me in Facebook feeds, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, wherever, in movies and songs and whatever. Should I take that as a visitation from my loved ones? Here's what I always tell people about identifying any animal, bird, reptile, amphibian, insect, whatever, with a visitation from a loved one. And that is, if it feels like it, it's a visitation. Case in point, I tell a story that just happened to me recently. A gal is a regular client, but I hadn't heard from her in a year. And I had this crazy lizard encounter literally minutes right before her reading. And I'm chasing this lizard around my house thinking, oh my God, I got to get this lizard, or it's just going to, get eaten by my cats. I can't do that. I don't want to be late for her reading. And I'm doing all this, in my head. Sure enough, we get in the reading, and I don't recall exactly what she said, but I looked at her really strangely and I said, I have to tell you what happened right before your reading. And I told her the lizard story, and she just froze, because 2 days earlier, she'd bought an orange lizard from Walmart because it happened to be on a shelf staring her eye to eye in the grocery section. Y'all. There was just this random plastic lizard waiting for her to see it. Now, this woman's son was murdered back in March, and his favorite color was orange, or as I told her, his favorite color probably still is orange until he incarnates to, another reality. It's probably still going to stay that. And as a kid, he had the most amazing fascination with lizards and reptiles and, amphibians and that, creepy crawly things, right? Little bugs. But he loved lizards most of all, and his favorite color was orange. And I was like, well, did you think that was a sign from him? And she goes, I wasn't sure till I talked with you. And I'm like, oh gosh, I just wish people could believe, keep your feet grounded. I'm not saying believe every little thing that you see is like a message, an omen. Although I don't believe anything happens randomly. I think it's all for a reason, right? But if you feel like when a cardinal shows up that it's a message, then it is. Now, I have a very specific red cardinal story. It's the only one that I have, but it's so profound. So I live in Florida, and I live in kind of a wooded area. So I have tons of birds and that kind of thing that show up for me, or to me, I should say. And one day I walked out my front door, and there was the fattest, biggest red, possibly the reddest red cardinal I've ever seen. And I looked at him and he looked at me, and you can know that it's a him because only the males are that beautiful red. The females tend to stay a little more camouflaged, little brown, that kind of thing. So I looked at him and I was like, what are you trying to tell me, mister? And he just kept looking at me. So I thought, let's try this. So slowly and gently, I started to approach him. And that bird, that wild bird, let me get within about a foot of him, and he just kept looking at me. So, of course, I'm looking at him to see if he's injured, is he stunned? Because what wild bird lets you get that close? They just really normally don't. So all of a sudden, he talked to me and he said, I am someone's mother. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, who is it? You'll find out the way you're supposed to find out. And I'm like, great. We've got a red cardinal that talks like in riddles like Yoda. Fantastic. All right, I'll deliver your message. So like 2 days later, maybe even the next day, a Facebook friend pinged me. I haven't talked to her. I mean, we're buddies on Facebook, but I haven't talked with her in like 3 years. We just have lives, right? We lead our lives. She pings me on Facebook and she says, hey, my mom's really been on my mind. And as you know, she passed last year, and I really want to set up a reading. And I said, you don't have to set up a reading. And she said, huh? And I said, let me guess, your mom had a real thing for red cardinals. And she pings me back and she said, yeah. And now so do I after she passed. And I'm like, well, your mom showed up on my fence, and I told her about the whole encounter, and that she knew that she knew that she knew she'd been visited by her mom, but she was visited through me by her mom. Now, what she needed to get out of the interaction between us both, I don't know. That's only for her to know. But there's a reason that her mom sent that red cardinal to me. So knowing that her daughter would ping me for a reading, and I would just be able to deliver her what she needed with that sighting. So that said, I will also say that because of the red of cardinals, like in the Catholic Church, because of their robes, that brilliant color red, cardinals are very, very associated with the Christian religion, and the sacrifice of Christ, which represents, to Christians, the eternal nature of our soul. And it's really interesting because in Latin, the term for cardinal actually means pivot or hinge. And, I've done a lot of research. I can't quite figure out how pivot or hinge really fits into that symbolism for cardinals, red cardinals in particular. I'm not sure yet, but I am looking for it. If anybody else out there can figure it out and you want to put it in the comments below, please do, because I learn something from you guys every day, and I would love to know more if you know more. So all of that said, going back to cardinals, and they're mating for life, they're also year-round birds. And what that means is cardinals can be tied to the number 12, which is the number of completion. It's the number of perfection. And so if you see a cardinal and you actually have a romantic relationship on your mind, or, really like a work relationship, a job, your kids, your pets, your, whatever that you have a relationship with and you're in question about, or maybe in a little bit of turmoil about, you want to sign if it's going to be great, okay, or not. And red cardinal shows up to you, you can trust that it is going to be great, because again, being tied to the number 12 in numerology, the cardinal signifies completion, and in that, perfection. Okay. So we've talked about cardinals being, a great sign for relationships. And because they are monogamous, certainly strong ties symbolically to devotion, nurturing, love. And it's, for people that we want to be with us year round or all the time, that's also a really great omen. Also, if you guys see me looking down, I'm just looking at some of my notes. I wish that I could keep everything about every animal in my head. Wait till you get past a certain age. It doesn't work like that anymore. So, okay. All animals, male and female, will defend their pack, their flock, their herd, their whatever. I don't know if it's because the small birds are so small, or small insects, or insects are small, by and large. But really, it's so fascinating to me, because when I've observed the animal kingdom, yes, big animals can be ferocious, and maybe it's just my human mind that thinks, well, of course they're going to be a little scary when they need to be ferocious, because, a 500-pound tiger, a 1,000-pound hippo or rhino charging at you, that's a little scary. But hummingbirds, I live in Florida, right? So this is what we do. We put out butterfly plants, and we hang hummingbird feeders everywhere. And we watch the show in the morning with our tea or our coffee or kombucha or whatever it is, your mimosa, whatever you're drinking in the morning. And we just watch the show because it's so fascinating. And it is amazing to me how hummingbirds, how vicious they are. They are fierce and relentless. Well, red cardinal males are exactly the same. When they take on the role of daddy, they ain't kidding. When they take on the role of protector, they are not kidding. If you need a fierce animal protector, and particularly for your family, again, because of the ties of the red color with your root chakra, which ties into family, cardinal is a great one to call on. Now, again, going back to the songs. So there's all the ferocity, there's all the family, there's all the love, there's all the this, there's all of that, visitations, signs of visitations from the other side. But I really think, I just think songbirds have a very special place in the world. Music, which songs are, is such a healing, makes the world come together, makes people of all different colors, races, beliefs, they can sing together in harmony. I just love songbirds. And cardinal couples actually sing together. They sing songs to each other. And actually the female has been noted to know up to 12 different songs, which I guess for the little cardinal brain is quite something, the scientists say. Personally, I believe that all animals, reptiles, birds, amphibians, whatever, they are capable of unlimited things, such as love. Truly, I do. I think I've just spent so many hours watching and being involved with the animal kingdom that I just don't, I don't see it any differently. It's my own data that I've put together. And so in that, what that teaches you is that whatever music you want to sing, whatever music you want to birth into the world, write, do, and that may mean real music, like you are really a musician or want to be a musician or want to be a singer or are a singer. You may be a person that just goes to karaoke. Okay, you're a singer and you should sing all of your own songs. It kind of reminds me of that Leanne Womack song, I Hope You Dance, I Hope You Sing. But remember, songs and singing don't have to be musical, so to speak. Reading a poem, writing a poem, writing a blog post, writing something inspirational or loving or compassionate or supportive on social media, that's you singing your song. Never think for 1 minute that the world does not need your voice. The world does need your voice. And I always try to encourage people that there is a thought, a belief among some of us woo-wooers that we are all part of the divine. We're all part of God, and that God created us so that we could incarnate as humans and all have all of these different experiences so that we can then send that basically data back to source or back to all that is, or whatever word or words or phrases you want to give for, again, God, the divine, the source, all that is, so on, the universe. And I really like to think that's true. I can't prove to you that it's true, but I like to think that it's true. And so the world needs your voice, whatever that means. Always let your words come from a place of love, even when you want to chew thumbtacks. There's a way to state what you want to state without, going off half-cocked, but sing your songs. Okay. That said, I just really think that cardinals speak to us about our kind of sense of purpose in the greater scheme of things. And maybe it has to do with that red color that they have. It's just such a bold color. And again, it ties to the reproductive system. And that doesn't mean with just having a baby, a human baby. That can mean, well, like I'm a metaphysician. And so I believe, actually I know deep in my spirit, that my job, my purpose in the greater scheme of things is to be a helpmate to you in whatever way that I can. Sometimes it's spirit, totem, and power animals. Sometimes it's psychic development. Sometimes it's shamanic journeying. Sometimes it's symbolism and meanings, teaching you how to interpret those, see them, accept them. Everything really that goes into spirituality and metaphysics. And I kind of hesitate to say the new age, school of thought, because that sometimes cannot be quite as maybe in depth as straight up metaphysics. Sometimes, not all the time, but that's what my purpose in life is. That's what I was born to give birth to in this world. And, that's part of a sacred contract. That's an agreement that I made when I was with my soul group on the other side. And I came in and I'm doing it. And it's just, gosh, you guys, I've done over 35,000 readings at this point. I think that's probably even on the low end of numbers. Oh my gosh. If I just wish that literally the thousands of people that have come to me for a reading because they're like, I just need to know what my purpose is. I want to know what my sacred contract is. I'm confused about it. I've had this job forever. I've been in this relationship forever, or however it's manifested, but it just doesn't feel right. Like I just can't step fully into that energy. And I just wish for everybody out there who's watching this, if you don't at this moment know your soul's purpose and you're seeking it, please call on Red Cardinal energy to help you. It really, really, really can. And one of the other things is, because even though it's the male cardinals that are red and the females are not, red cardinals are they are often attributed to the sacred feminine. And it has to do with the color red and its ties to our basic, our life-giving blood. Without blood, we'd just be a sack of bones and skin, just not even able to move or do anything. And so that of course ties in with birth, the reproductive system, and again, the root chakra. So remember that the feminine is really more, at its core, at its nature, more psychic. And so you may have Red Cardinal show up to you symbolically to let you know that even if you're a male, like even if you're like a meat eating, truck driving, beer swilling, man's man, Not that only men's men, drive trucks and eat meat and that kind of thing. But again, I'm Southern, y'all forgive me. I'm Southern. Because you can be just as alpha male if you're, in a suit with the skinny legs and the big shoes and all the, the hair stuff that's going on right now with the mustaches and that makes you look like a lumberjack, but you're not really a lumberjack. I'm teasing you guys. I love you. I think that look is very hot. But anyway, so it doesn't matter if you are male, if you're female, if you don't identify with any of that, you can call on Red Cardinal to help you more attune to the feminine. And through that, also more develop your own intuition. So moving on, let's talk about Cardinal as a spirit animal. Now, in the notes below, you'll find a link to one of my videos, and it's the difference between spirit, totem, and power animals. I really hope that you watch that. But briefly, a spirit animal is the animal that comes to you when your soul cries out for help, healing, support. And that may be an unconscious or subconscious calling out. You may not even know that you called out to the spirit world consciously, but if you happen to see cardinals, red cardinals, just showing up everywhere, oh my gosh, they can be in person, movies, TV, Facebook feeds, Instagram, Pinterest, whatever, Twitter. Twitter. I didn't even get the joke till I just said it now. My God, I hope they show up for you on Twitter. Get it? Birds, Twitter, tweet. Okay. Anyway, I should have made that joke at the beginning. Okay. So, remember birds are symbols of birds at large, right? And symbolically speaking, bird symbolism and meaning is absolutely about your ability to fly as high as that bird flies. And it doesn't matter that a cardinal doesn't fly as high as a hawk, or that a hawk doesn't fly as high as an eagle, or that, whatever birds fly super, super high. It doesn't matter. It matters that it's about taking wing and realizing that you can get liftoff and you can fly to whatever you want, toward whatever you want, and land wherever you want. You've got the ability to do that. And of course, feathers are always signs that angels are near, someone's thinking about you. And if you happen to share a love of a particular kind of bird, or, maybe your loved one who crossed over shared a love of a particular kind of bird. And I hate to say this, but it's true. I had a client once that had a cat. This cat would only bring her titmice birds. I don't know how this cat ever caught a titmouse ever in my life. I don't even know. But, every week or two, this cat would show up on the doorstep. And so when she would see titmice in her yard or any place else, it would always make her think it was a visitation from her cat, because of that cat could have brought her a million birds, or squirrels for that matter, because she's a Floridian and she lives a little bit in the country, but that cat always brought her that kind of bird. So you can even share the love of a bird with an animal, or you can share the love of any animal with whatever. Let's say you've got a dog that had a particular, if you're like me, you buy your pets all kinds of toys. So let's say that your dog had, or your cat had, 10 stuffed toys, but always only played with the whale or the pig or the squirrel or the whatever. And then after they cross over, you start seeing that animal a lot. It mysteriously appears in different spaces and places. You can bet that's a visitation from your pet. Okay, so when Red Cardinal shows up to you as a spirit animal, it's really important to note how many birds showed up, because then you're going to want to look that up in numerology. If it was one bird, it means one thing. If it was, 25 birds, it means something else. And there's a link in the comments below that will take you to my website, Building Beautiful Souls, and you can read all about numerology and you can look up numbers. But when it comes to the double digit and triple digit numbers, I also have a whole section on Building Beautiful Souls that is devoted to angel numbers. And double digit and triple digit numbers are really thought to be angel numbers. And over the years, I have found that to absolutely be the case. So you can take a look at that as well. when I get really excited about encouraging you guys that when birds show up, that it's time to take flight, and know that you can do that, and have the courage and confidence, that they are giving you, that they're gifting you. That's awesome. But it's also about discernment. And that's where the psychic part of you comes in. That's where the shamanic part of you comes in. And when they show up, did they show up sitting on a branch, stable on something, just sitting still? Or did they show up to you flying? Obviously, if they showed up to you flying, take wing. If when they appeared to you, you saw them sitting, standing, just still, then it's time to take a pause before you lift off into flight. So the other thing is that all songbirds, and I mean every animal has its own voice, its own set of sounds that it makes. For the life of me, I so wish that each and every one of you will come to know that your voice is unique and it's important. It is not like anyone else's voice, even if it has, a little smatterings or a hint of, somebody that you learned from, or somebody that you admire, or, I was in the entertainment business for years, and I'm a great mimic. I can mimic voices like you can't believe, and I've gotten pretty okay at a lot of animal voices, but I still know Bernadette's voice. And again, it's important that you get your voice out into the world. However you do that, I have always taught that the strongest form of communication is silence. And so even if your song is the song of silence, okay, that's still your voice and it's still your song. Don't let anybody make you feel like you've got to chatter all day long. Do what you want to do, but there's the secret. Do what you want to do. Do what you're called to do. Don't let them tame you. Do what? Stay wild. Okay, so we're going to move on to Cardinal as a totem animal. So again, please watch that video, the difference between spirit, totem, and power animals. But briefly, a totem animal is who you are. Now, that starts with what zodiac sign that you're born under. And for instance, I'm a triple Scorpio. So my original totem animal, who I am, is Scorpion. And I have a tremendous amount of Scorpio personality traits. Yes, I do. But way, way early when I was a kid, my mom said, and it's happened my whole life, that the animal that I reached for first, the stuffed animal that I reached for first, the toy, was a stuffed teddy bear. And my whole life I've been obsessed with bears. Even my name, Bernadette, is the female counterpart to the French name Bernard, which exactly translated means brave, strong bear. I'm built like a bear. I eat like a bear. I've got the temperament of a bear. I won't sleep, literally won't sleep for weeks at a time. And yes, of course, it's totally natural to do a crash after that. I get that. But why is my system designed that way? It's always been that way. I won't sleep. I won't sleep. I won't sleep. Boink. Lights out for like 18 hours. I'm like, no one can wake me up. It's like I'm drugged. Bear, right? Okay. Now, just because your zodiac animal is your original totem animal, who you are, through your lifetime, as you go through transformations and changes, you can start to identify with and become another animal. So if you identify with red cardinal as your totem animal, here's a couple things to know. Number one, you've got the medicine of uniqueness. There is no way that a cardinal person can hide in a crowd. Just like if you're watching birds outside, you're probably going to see a red cardinal first, which is also interesting because cardinals are always first and last to bird feeders. And scientists think that that's a camouflage cover to make them safer because, listen, who can't spot a flaming, brilliant red color on a bird zipping through their yard, right? Or sitting on their fence. So even though cardinals come first and last to the feeder, They don't try to camouflage their colors. They just maybe make themselves a little more, easy for prey to find them. But your smarts, your intuition is going to let you know when it is appropriate to be the flamboyant, festive, distinctive person that you are, and when to just maybe back up and stay, not hidden, but maybe, and not even really in the shadows, but maybe a little less noticeable. You'll know that instinctively as a cardinal totem person. So also, the color red is very associated with honor and stick-to-itiveness and all those blood ties that really harken back to our ancestors when, if you weren't loyal to your clan, if you weren't loyal to your tribe, good luck surviving on your own. And in those times, they had very, very harsh punishments for people that abandoned one tribe or clan to go to another. And even the tribe or clan that the person would show up to, they always felt really hinky about people that would abandon their family or their tribe or their clan and just vacate to another one. So just know that if you're this kind of person that always feels the urge to stick up for people, especially the underdog, it's because of your red cardinal tendencies. And also, if you're a person that will just gut it out till the very end because you are a year-round, or if one of your friends or family or a loved one or somebody is going through a tough season, you're going to stick with them through that season. So that said, also, cardinals are really homebodies. They like to stick around the nest. They don't really travel very far. And so you might very, very well be a homebody if you adopt or have adopted, or red cardinal has adopted you as a totem. So one other thing to say is that red cardinals can sometimes be yellow. And it's like in the bird watching community, if you see a yellow cardinal, it's the same as when Native Americans used to see a white buffalo. It's a message from the divine. It is such a unique animal, very, very rarely seen. So if you're one of the ones who actually get to see it, and I would say at that point, it would have to be in person, not necessarily, on social media or, well, actually it could be on social media because I don't follow any bird watching communities on social media, but if you follow a bird watching community and you see it, it's maybe not going to be all that wow. But if you happen to randomly see it on a social media feed that doesn't have anything to do with birds, or you happen to, see it in a movie or just see it in person, that is such a huge sign for you to create, because yellow is tied to the solar plexus chakra. And that's all about our creativity. That is sun energy. It is all about shining as brightly as you can possibly shine. And you'll surprise yourself how much you can shine when you allow that yellow cardinal to help you step forward and back you up in that. So that said, moving on to cardinal as a power animal, y'all, there are so many great reasons for invoking red cardinal as your power animal. If you are settling into a new job, a new space, a new something, and you're feeling like, I think I need a little bit of extra protection, great. As I said earlier, oh my God, I'm starting to refer to myself as the collective we. I'm sorry. I'll get over that. So I hope that you are always confident where you are and are not really feeling like you need extra protection. But if you do, red cardinals are fierce. So call on them and they can help you protect your territory. Let's say that you struggle with the seasonality, the seasonal emotional swings, like especially during winter, I think it's called SAD, seasonal affective disorder. Man, cardinal can just really help pull you out of that. It can help you reach inside of yourself and remember, your songs and sing them. Remember that everything is a season, and it's just, how to stay in great true relationship with your true self. And your true self, you guys, being depressed and being upset and being angry and anything negative, that's a purely human thing. When we allow ourselves to live in our own divinity, man, we just are always happy, and we're always creating, and we're always looking for ways to help each other, and life is just better. So when you're in a place where you've forgotten that momentarily, call on Red Cardinal as your power animal to assist with, those matters of health, that vitality, help you adjust to the ebb and flow of weather and life, and just give you the clarity, the joy, preparedness, improved communication, just everything that you can get from Red Cardinal, but in particular, make you feel like you want to sing again. That it doesn't matter. I'm learning how to make mosaics, and the way you have to cut the tiles and glass and whatever other, materials that you're using, and you've got to blend them and you've got to make them flow. It really is like music. I'm writing a song that when it's finished, I hope will light people's spirits up or help them, whatever they need at that time. I hope that it will help them. So whether you are picking up the karaoke, microphone, or you're singing along to something in the shower or the car, or you're writing a poem, or you're writing something on social media. God, even sharing a meme on social media could be considered singing your own song, because it's what you want to share with the world. It's what you have to say, and it's your own unique voice. Okay, so moving along, the Native American cardinal, or I should say Red Cardinal as a Native American animal, is about a lot of the same things that we've already talked about. But interestingly, some tribes think as the cardinal as a harbinger of rain. I haven't quite figured out why that is, but I read it in one of my many, I've got a jillion symbolism books out here, and I'm not sure why that is. Potentially what they noticed is that they would see more cardinal activity, right before it rained. That's possible, but just know that it's out there, right? Okay, so in the Far Eastern culture, especially China and Japan, their red bird is actually the phoenix, the bird of fire, transformation, rebirth, but it's also the bird of fidelity and integrity. So if you are okay with understanding that they can be interchangeable, the red bird definitely heralds the coming of new horizons, honorable rulers, even if you're going to be the ruler, and it guards, to them, it guards the southern quarter of creation, where it stands watch over evil influences. So that's some of the other meanings. In dreams now, when you have cardinals appear in your dreams, cardinal dreams, it's usually regarded as a very, very positive omen that is urging you to follow your passions, red, and your dreams, right? And that if you do, if you'll lean into that, you've got some really great stuff coming on your horizon. And certainly if you have cardinal dreams, certainly it can be a visitation from loved ones, right? Again, the key in dreams to interpreting dreams is, how many cardinals were there? What color of red were they? Were they a murky, dirty red? If they were, that might be an omen in your dreams that, maybe your relationships with folks need to be kind of, polished a little bit or healed. Maybe that is a call that, it's time to really heal and clear and activate your root chakra. Maybe you've got some real issues with stability or reproduction of any kind, of some kind. If they are bright, 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 clear, vibrant, blood red, excellent, great omen. Maybe they're a little more to the pink side, right? That could mean that maybe you're getting a little light in your fidelity. Maybe that could mean that you're getting a little light in your honor system. Maybe that could mean that now is not a good time for you to ramrod into that, serious relationship, whether it's a job, it's buying a car, it's a new pet, or, something that's romantically, maybe it's a little bit of a thing to, back off a little bit. Or it might be telling you, yes, there is the promise of something, but slow down, take it easy. It's okay. It's all in divine time, right? Dreams can be, I think, very challenging to interpret, but I've learned over the years to get pretty good at it. When I understand the other, maybe psychically understand the other circumstances going along with it. So case in point, if somebody comes to me for a reading and they're like, my gosh, I keep seeing these red cardinals in my dreams, I'll go, stop. And then we'll go through the reading. And let's say that I'm like, you're here about a relationship, aren't you? Yeah, I am. Once we get through the messages, the evidential messages of that relationship, then I'm better able to explain to them what the cardinal in their dreams means. So just remember, you've got to take into consideration lots of different things when you are interpreting your dreams. And again, just very briefly as a list, the numerology, how many of the animals showed up, what color, what did the colors look like, what colors were there. Maybe you have a cardinal show up and for whatever reason it's rainbow colored, but you know that it's a cardinal. Okay, that's cool. That might be a call that it's time for you to help the world better understand that all colors can get along. All colors can unite and be integrated and still retain their individuality. It might be a call that you might need to check yourself on what you think about people and places of other colors. That might be. And it can mean that and more. So I hope that helps you a little bit about cardinal dreams, interpreting them. And just to wrap up here today, just very briefly again, cardinals' key symbolic meanings are good cheer, pride, hopefulness, bold energy, powerful energy, being supportive of yourself and the people around you, the world around you, animals around you, brilliance. And remember, brilliance of color can also mean brilliance of mind. So if there's been something that you've been afraid that you won't be smart enough or clever enough or creative enough to achieve or make happen, call on red cardinal as your power animal to power through that, or ask for the animal to show up. And if red cardinal shows up and you're like, what does that have to do with, now you know. Okay. Again, I cannot say this enough. Red cardinal, root chakra, strong family ties, and just being magnificent. Okay, that is it for red cardinal energy and medicine. And I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you found value in it and help in it. I absolutely thank you for tuning in. And I will urge you once again, please check out the Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck. There are 100 cards in the main deck and 49 other cards available to you. They're all different animals. So you would have a stash of 149 different animals to work with and use in your readings for yourself, use in your shamanic work, whether shamanic healing, working with chakras, however. Also in the book, it comes with a 380-page book, cleverly turned to red cardinal. And you've got the meaning of the oracle animal here, and then its key points as a spirit and totem and power animal here. And then if the animal actually happens to be part of the tarot, then you'll have its tarot meaning, and you'll have the meaning also as a spirit, totem, and power animal here. There's information. Oh gosh, I forgot. Sorry, you guys. Okay, also when you're interpreting messages from your spirit, totem, and power animals, please try to figure out what direction that animal is coming from and going to. That can be really difficult, but if you see them in person, are their little heads pointed toward a particular direction, and their little tails pointed toward a different direction. And that will give you a clue about coming and going from the east, which means one thing, the west, which means another thing, the south, the north. And the link for all the cardinal directions and their symbolism is also in the comments. And one other thing is, what day of the week did you experience this, and what month did you experience this? Because each month and each week and each day have a different meaning. It sounds like a big cluster bomb of how am I ever going to figure this out, and is that like too much information? Sometimes spirit, totem, and power animal messages are, I mean, clear as can be. And sometimes you're like, I'm not sure. In which case, you just make yourself a little list, and then it's all about math. What does it mean here? What does it mean there? How do all those things tie together to best benefit you? There you have it. Okay, so my honor to serve you. My greatest wish for you is that you do not let this world and anything in it tame you. Stay true to your own self, and always remember what? To stay wild.